Time for Front Office Insights presented by Sage. We welcome in Derek Falvey, President of Baseball and Business Operations for the Twins. Derek, it's Brian Kenny. Thanks so much for coming on with us today.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Derek, I'd say that there's a good team there. You've done a nice job for a long time now. But you tell me, how would you describe the state of the Twins this season?
Yeah, we've gotten off to a little bit of a slow start, certainly the first 4 games, but the last 2, we really look like the team I envisioned. Pablo Lopez had a great day yesterday, got some offensive contributions from some guys who hadn't really been swinging the bat that well, but we feel really good about the roster. You know, if we stay healthy, we keep this group together. We know this is a team that looked a lot like you just mentioned last year that was playing good baseball for a good chunk of the summer.
Yeah, Carlos Correa had started 0 for 18, but he had a good day yesterday. You get your first series win yesterday. A long rain delay, but Byron Buxton and Correa, they had good offensive games, good defensive games. But that's the point, right? You have Buxton, Correa, Royce Lewis. How do you, as an organization, attack the issue of injuries and keeping those guys on the field?
Yeah, it's such an important part of it because, as you just said, you know, Royce dealt with a hamstring strain at the end of spring training there, so he's out for a few more weeks here. But we're hopeful that, you know, with Byron, he had a tremendous offseason, played more games last year in the field than he had in a lot of seasons. Carlos, we know, the plantar fasciitis has been a challenge for him the last couple of years, but when he's on the field, he's an elite defender, he's a tremendous offensive contributor, and he's a great leader. We feel we have good players in the room. We have to keep them on the field through the course of the season. You
know, we saw an example on Monday night. We called it load management, right? Like you guys got down early, and Rocco took them right out of the game, and it seemed early. I even used it in the showdown with Mark DeRosa, saying, do we like this? No, we don't like it. But, yeah, he's probably right. You tell me, is this part of the MO that, hey, if we see win probability is low, we might get these guys off their feet?
I think Rock was thinking in that moment that Carlos was going to get the next day off. And with the score where it was, with the game where it was, I think more likely than not, because of Carlos, who he is, and the pro that he is, he talked to him about it and said, I'm going to need you to go tomorrow. We were off to a tough start. So, you know, it's the right time, right moment. It's always a partnership between Rocco and the players. They talk about it some, but hopefully we're playing 162 and a number of games beyond that, and you got to get through the whole season.
You know, Harrison Bader's off to a good start for you. He was a late signing. And you know, you tell me, we talk, roster construction a lot. It's a rare mid-level signing, right? It's kind of it's not cheap, it's mid-level, but we see monster deals, mega deals, we see low-end deals. Why don't we see more of that, like $5 million to $8 million player?
Well, you know, for us, we need it, right? It's the way to round out our team. Obviously, we just talked about some premium players that are on our roster, but a year ago for us, it was Carlos Santana, who came in and played great for us at first base. This year, it's Harrison. He's been off to a tremendous start. He's an awesome clubhouse president, great teammate. I just feel like he's the right kind of fit for our team that adds to standing next to Buxton in the outfield. That gives you some really good outfield defense.
You know, we hear about a lot of players that are kind of, later in their career that have remained unsigned. We saw even like Jose Iglesias, right? Anthony Rizzo, guys who are on the back end, but there's still some value there. Are there still undervalued things out there on the market the way that it's fluctuating?
Yeah, I think every year, you know, it depends on your roster and what you're looking to do. For us, in Harrison's case, and late, another signing that we had was Ty France, guy who was an all-star just a couple of years ago. He's been a great fit. He's played tremendous first base defense. So when we look at it, we need to round out our roster with every type of player who can contribute up and down because Rocco's going to use them all. The bench gets used on our team because that's the way you need to get through a season, and we feel like we got a deep group. You
mentioned Pablo Lopez, and again, he's like a StatCast darling. There's like the underlying metrics are so sensational. I don't know if he's had the breakout year yet. What do you see as far as underlying metrics and then actual results data?
Yeah, Brian, you're right. We see him as our ace. You know, he's a guy that's really we've leaned on. You go back to 2023, you know, he won the postseason games for us here against Toronto, and then going into Houston and a tough lineup and finding a way to win that game. He's done it in big moments, big spots. Certainly there have been some stretches where his ERA is a little bit up above where you'd think it should be, but this guy's a tremendous competitor. He prepares as well as anybody. I truly believe he represents everything you want a number one starter to represent.
You know, Thad Levine was with you for years. This year, he's out. You're promoted to president of business operations and baseball operations. How has your day-to-day changed?
Well, in many ways, you know, in some ways not much, but in some ways a lot, right? I think the goal here has always been to build out great teams of people. You know, and I have Jeremy Zoll stepped up into that role here in Minnesota on the baseball side. We have tremendous people across the business side too. I feel very fortunate to be here with a lot of great leaders, and my job is to kind of get out of the way and make sure they get to do what they do best.
But you got to think more of tickets and food, and where's the food and where's the flow of the crowd going? There's a lot of things to think about, right?
Yeah, there's a lot, certainly. There's a lot to learn about that. I have over a lot of years here, but it's all about the experience, right? We want the best experience for our players on the field. We want the best experience for our fans. And so hopefully, you know, today as we kick it off on opening day, which is a very special day for anyone walking into Target Field, we're really excited about kicking off 25 here.
And I see it's cool, but this way you put a scarf on, a little, you know, heavier coat, you'll be all right. Give me your take on torpedo bats. We know Ryan Jeffers has been using one. Where are you on that?
You know, it's interesting. I had heard about it a little bit at the end of last year. Guys talked about it in spring training and utilized some. We'll see where it tracks going forward. Hey, it's a cat and mouse game between pitchers and hitters. Always has been, always will be. Maybe it's another adjustment hitters are making to get to how good this pitching is across baseball.
But you have a sophisticated front office. Like, is your team looking at how guys strike the ball, where they strike the ball? Will there be they're already personalized, but more personalized bats like that?
I think there will be. Over the years, I've seen hitters get more and more personalized about their bats. They're weighing them on scales. They're getting a feel for what it feels like from a weight distribution standpoint. So they're refining their craft, and I'm not surprised that this is the new next change that we see in baseball, just a way to continue to find a way to get better.
I think it just gets more interesting. It's just more fascinating. Like, wait, we didn't do that for 100 years, now we are? Okay, whatever works. Astros Twins this afternoon, home opener for the Minnesota Twins. It'll be live right here on MLB Network, and again, they're at the ballpark, of course, as well. Derek, thank you so much. Best of luck this year. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, as always.
Let's make some statements. I'm totally going to pick it up. Into it or over it. 1 week in. Are you ready, gentlemen? Look alive. Stand up straight. Torpedo bats. Was it a 1 week discussion, or is it more? Into it or over it? Go. What do you got?
I'm into torpedo bats. For a guy who liked to work the ball up the middle the other way, the two-seamer I thought was the toughest pitch to hit in the game. If you could move my barrel just a smidge down towards that label, I think it would have helped me. So I'm in on it. I don't think everybody's going to love it.
I mean, Max Muncy, Robert said it. He
Mid-game.
switched mid-game.
Yeah, pick your poison.
What do you think, Jake Peavy, as a former pitcher?
I don't know how to feel about it because I did watch Volpe's ball last night in the contact point to the bat. You're going, golly, man, that normally is in there on a player.
Yeah.
That you feel like you might break his bat if you're right around there.
Yeah.
It's not going away. It's certainly seemingly making these guys better. I think it's just going to do nothing but let the guys see the ball deeper, try to stay inside it. So I think it's going to make offense better.
I'm into the discussion.
different pitches.
I'm into the discussion because, one, as a fan, I like offense. Apologies.
Of course.
But two, if we're able to let people know that every team is allowed to do this, every player is allowed to do this, then I think it takes away from the sort of vast conspiracy that some people think it is.
And it wasn't just the Yankees.
No, it's not just
Can you
the
imagine having him off Mariano back in the day, Rivera, whose ball cut so late, and you maybe
good point.
I catch a smidge more?
And away we go. I know the answer to this. Into it or over it, Jose Altuve playing left field. 35 innings so far.
I'm over this.
Okay.
Same.
Hats off to Altuve for doing it. I understand in Houston, left field is like Fenway Park, where if it's over your head, it's a double or a homer. But he doesn't look comfortable out there, and we're grinding to get Brendan Rodgers and Dubon at bats. I don't.
You just don't think it's a fit. Not that he's not willing.
But I will say I can understand why Houston has done it. There's been moments where Altuve at second base looks like he's. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. No, I'm
a little funky.
I'm going to say I'm into it because I think it's too early, and he's been willing and enthusiastic about the move, and there's reasons and data for it. I just really hope for his sake that it works out. But Jake, they've got bigger problems right now. Their offense collectively isn't hitting.
You got to catch the ball. You got to pitch and play defense before you can start winning in the big leagues. I'm a pitcher and I'm defensive minded, and it doesn't look comfortable. I put my best defense on the field.
Two over it, one
fans,
into it.
we are giving you reason for optimism. No team in MLB history has reached the playoffs after starting 0-7. The Braves can end that streak. Jake Peavy, are you into it or over it? Let's go.
No, I'm into this. If you watch what the Mets did last year in their start, if you watch 2021, did you think the Braves in July were any good? So I'm overhearing about this because I believe in Snit. I know they've got some big issues. They do have Acuna and Strider coming back, swelling back, Sale. They can make a run and get back in this thing, and you just get in the playoffs. They might not win the East.
I'm with Jake.
Let's
Into
go.
it, more postseason spots available. They were, I believe, they didn't get above 500 when they won the World Series until like July in 2021. So they're not done yet. Their room for error has shrunk a little bit, but I'm into
Houston
it.
Astros last year.
They got to go though. Guys on the offense, they got to go. Austin Riley, he said it as such.
Bit embarrassing.
Man of
Ain't no
his word.
secret. We need this one.
He had the bases loaded a couple times yesterday.
They'll get there.
They'll be all right.
NL East is a gauntlet. What about the NL West? The
Yeah.
West is the best division in the game. What
Into
say
it.
you?
Yeah, I don't
Into
think
it?
it's close.
Not
Into
close.
it.
I've been saying this since the offseason. When you look at what Arizona and the Dodgers, we saw the Padres and the Dodgers tit for tat to go to the World Series, so you know those two teams. You put Arizona in that mix. You saw what they did last night in Yankee Stadium.
AL East is good, but I don't think.
No, I'm telling you, and the Giants are good.
Really good.
I would love to,
Giants aren't
like,
going
if I'm
anywhere.
Bob Melvin, I'm pounding the pavement every day. Keep the energy, keep the fight. I like their team.
If they get offense, that team's going to pitch. If they get offense,
Yeah.
which they are.
I would be loud and obnoxious in that dugout. Constant. more. 'Cause I feel like you know how it gets in San Francisco. You can kind of fade away for a minute.